Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is Mr. Muddathir from Legacy School and this is ICT Year 7. Now that we know what Python is and what is Python shell is and what do we do with a high level language, in today's lesson we're going to go on with Python and we are going to learn about word of variables and operators and then how we can give a name to a variable. Let's first open Python, go to the start menu and head to the programs that starts with P. You'll find Python over there and open IDLE. Now we have the shell for Python open. First, let's define the word variable. What is variable and why do we need variables in our programs? In our programming, because we're programmers, we will deal with variables all the time. So variables are names given to data that we need to store and manipulate in our program. And when I say manipulate, means edit. For instance, suppose your program needs to store the age of a user. To do that, you can name this data user age without spaces, or you can just give it any name as long as you can remember it later while coding and programming. And define the variable user age using the following statement: user age space equals space 0. Alright, so let's try to open a new text editor in Python and try to assign a variable. So I'm going to name this variable username equals 30. Now I stored 30, the number 30, in a variable named username in my memory. As we all know that variables are nothing but something to tell the computer to reserve a part in your memory with the name username. So now I want to recall that from the memory of the computer. So I'm going to type print. Now I'm going to give it the variable name, which is username between brackets, and that's it. Let's save our program. File, save. Let's try variable var.py. Always remember that you have to save your program as with an extension .py and save. Now I'm going to run the program. Run module, and there you go. I hope you got exactly what happened in the whole process of giving a variable name and then giving it a value, and then the computer stores that value on the memory, and then when you print that, the computer doesn't print it from the text. No, it goes all the way to the hard drive or the memory or the RAM, and then it looks for the variable named username. And what is the value for that? It's 30. Okay, display 30. Yeah? After you define the variable user age or username or whatever, your program will allocate a certain area of your computer storage space to store this data. You can then access and modify this data by referring it by its name, user age. Every time you declare a new variable, you need to give it an initial value. In our case of the example, 30. In this example, we gave it the value 0. We can always change its value in our program later. We can also define multiple variables at one go. To do that, simply write user age, comma, username, space, equals the value for the user age, 30, comma, space, and Peter between commas or quotes. Why? Because 30 is an integer value and Peter is a string. Whenever we want to insert numbers, there should not be commas, and whenever we want to store alphabets or strings like names, it has to be in between two commas. User age equals 30, username equals Peter in between quotes. So this line to the computer is exactly as it is to those two lines. What we did is we just saved a lot of time typing, and we identified or assign two variables in one line instead of doing so like here. Alright, there are certain things that we need to keep in mind when giving a variable a name. So a variable name in Python can only contain letters A to Z, small letters, or A to Z, A to B, or A to Z in capital letter. Numbers or underscores, however, it can contain numbers and underscores. However, the first character cannot be a number. Okay, you cannot start a variable name with a number. Hence, you can name your variable username. Notice that there is no space here, or user underscore name. There's an underscore right here. Let me try to take off this grammar correction thingy. Yes, now you can see it. User underscore name without spaces, because we can't have spaces in the name of the variable, or user name 2. There's a letter at the end of the name of the variable, but we cannot name it to username because we can't have numbers at the beginning of the name of the variable. In addition, there are some reserved words that you cannot use as a variable name because they already have pre-assigned meanings in Python. These reserved words include words like print, input, if, while, and so on. All of the commands that we give to the computer to understand us, those are called reserved words, and we cannot name a variable with those words. We will learn about them as we go on in our phases. Finally, variable names are case sensitive. That means username is not the same as username with capital N in the middle. Case sensitive means that you have to write it exactly as it is when it was assigned. So if I wrote username with a capital U, whenever I call that variable, I have to write username with capital U. Next, we're going to learn about assignment sign. Note that the equal sign in the statement user age equals 0 has a different meaning from the equal sign we learned in math. In programming, the equal sign is known as an assignment sign. It's not an equal, rather it's an assignment sign. It means we are assigning the value on the right side of the equal sign to the variable on the left side. A good way to understand the statement is to understand this statement, user age equals 0, think of it as 0 is the value of user age. Okay, so the statement x equals y and y equals x have very different meaning in programming. It doesn't mean that x equals y and y equals x. No. Confused? An example will likely clear this up. Type the following code into your IDLE editor and save it. So I'm going to type x equals 5, y equals 10, x equals y, and then print both values, x and y. I'll head to my text editor and erase this probably. Okay, so we are assigning the variable name x, and we're giving it a value equals 5, and then we're assigning a variable named y equals 10, and then we are going to assign x one more time equals, this time I'm going to say that x value equals to y value, and then I'm going to try to print them because what I wrote right here is just allocating memories and saving variables. We're not printing anything, so I'm going to type the statement or the command to print them. Alright, print, open bracket, double quote, x equals, this is just the text that would show up, x space equals, I'm just printing this as I wrote it right here, and here I'm going to mention which variable value I want to show, and in here I'm going to show the value y. and then close the bracket. Again, I want to print the variable or the value of y this time. Y equals, and then I have to recall the value of the variable y from here. Wait, here I want to print the value of x, not y, and here I want to print the value of y. And then let's save this, file save, and then let's run this. So it says x equals to 10 and y equals to 10. Let's try something without bringing the message because I want to make this more simple to you. Now I want to print the value without a message. When I typed it with the message, it says x equals. Okay, it's not going to say that anymore. Okay, so let's try it. I only wanted to print the value of x, not x itself. So file save. Now I'm going to run the module. See, it gave me the values without the message x equals to. Alright, so why did it say that? Okay, first we allocated the value 5 for x. The computer reads the code or the program line by line, and then we said y is equals to 10, but then the computer changed the value of x to the same value of y. Okay, so values are always to the left and variables are always to the right. This is what we understand from this program. Now we want to modify the program to let you know that x is not equals to y is the same as y is equals to x. So modify the program by changing one statement, only one statement. Change the third line from x equals to y to y equals to x. Mathematically, x is equals to y and y equals to x means the same thing. However, this is not so in programming. So let's go ahead and do that. Yes, that is our text editor. So here we're going to change x equals to y to y equals to x. Just know that I made a mistake over here and wrote y in capital letter. It's not the same. So file save and let's run the module. You see what happened over there? Now x and y both have the value of 5. This is a strong proof that equals in programming not always is the same as equals in math. Now this is the end of phase number 3 in Python. You have an exercise as you can see in front of you on the screen. I want you to create 2 variables, 3 actually, num1, num2 and sum. Give it your own names. We'll come up with names for the variables and assign variables to them like I did over here. And then don't mind these are just comments. What are you going to do next? The third variable equals to the first variable that you had over here, num1, plus you can choose an operation of your choosing, whether it's plus or minus or multiplication or whatever, the second variable, and then print the third variable, which is the result for your operation. Well, that is it for this phase. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and this week we're only going to take one phase because it's been about 14 to 15 minutes, and I hope you guys understood every single thing. Do practice and take a screenshot or a picture and send them to me before next Thursday. Well, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Take good care. Bye.